Okay, in this recording, we're going to be talking about the My Giant task. So let's go ahead and read what happens. We've got this guest intruder. There's a giant that has walked in, grabbed my calculator, and ran back out. Can we figure out who done it by looking at some information? So first of all, let's go in and find some information here from pages 1 through 4 at this link. And it tells us that the giant's foot length is 18 inches. So let's see if I have something I can show you here of what that would look like. If you've got a ruler, you can look at 18 inches. So let me just pull out a ruler so I can show you. So right here, I have 6 inches. So we would need 3 of these would be the length of that giant's foot. Okay, so let's go in here to the task. And if we click on the handouts, here's a picture of the giant's footprint. Now notice, we've already been told that this foot is 18 inches total. The abbreviation for inches is just 2 slashes like that. By the way, here's a picture of the world's tallest woman at the time of the writing of this curriculum. Her name is Sandy Allen, and she's around 7 1/4 inches tall, standing next to her 7 foot 1/4 inches, standing next to her 6-foot friend. And here's some true information about Sandy. She wore a size 22 shoe. You can even go into the website there. Anyway, pretend the giant is going to visit your home. What items would you need? What size would the items need to be? And so you would need a tall enough ceiling, first of all. Also, here's a little bit of information showing the average height for boys at different ages. So we can see here the average height for a 16-year-old was just above 68 inches. 17-year-old is about 69 inches. 19 and a 20-year-old is upwards of 70 inches. Just by comparison. All right, but our task is to figure out how tall is this giant based on your own height and foot length. And then you can use proportional reasoning to figure that out. Okay, I'd also like to show you some information that talks about body ratios. Did you know that body ratios are pretty much the same? So if you look at, for example, your hand that pretty much covers your face. So the length of your hand from your wrist down to or up to the top of your tall finger is about the length of your face. For all people, on average, that's about the same ratio. Okay. Your total height is equivalent to about 7 of your heads tall. Nose length is equivalent to the first 2 digits of your index finger. Your head is approximately 4 to 5 eyes wide. So if you were drawing my face, if you took my eye, you could put 4 to 5 of those in a row to get about the right proportion for my face, which I know I have a narrow head, but that's about what it is. Eyes are separated by 1 eye's width. The bottom nose to the outside corner of the eye is about the length of your ear. The length of a foot is equal to the length of your forearm. The waist to neck ratio is about 1 to 2. So your waist is twice the circumference of your neck. So circumference is your distance around. Now don't squeeze. It's very, very dangerous to cut off your blood flow to your head. It's called strangulation, and there's a lot of teenagers out there doing this. But even after 3 to 4 seconds of pressure, those kids are losing brain cells, and from there it even gets worse and very quickly can lead to death. So don't squeeze, but you can look at the circumference of your neck is about half of the circumference of your waist. And then you can compare your neck circumference to the wrist circumference. So your neck circumference around your neck is about twice the distance around your wrist. Now, using this information, we can go back and work on finding the height of that giant using your own body ratios. So you need to actually get out a ruler and measure the length of your foot. So right now I'm just going to do this for mine. We'll use mine as an example, and then you need to do your own. Okay, so my foot is about 9 inches. So if we're setting up a proportion, we have my foot length to the giant's foot length. So 9 inches to 18 inches is the same as, so we have my foot to the giant's foot equals, and now what we're after is the height of the giant. We don't know that. And now we put the height of me. So I am around 5 feet 8 inches. Now, before we actually do this calculation where we multiply on the diagonal and divide by the other number, we need to turn this 5 feet 8 inches all into inches so that all of our numbers in the proportion have the same units. So 5 feet converted into inches would be 5 times 12 because there's 12 inches in a foot. So that would be 60 inches for 5 feet. And then we need to add the 8 inches as well. So 5 foot 8 inches is actually 68 inches. And now we can take 68 times 18 divided by 9 to solve that proportion. And that gives us 136 inches for the height of the giant. Okay, now when you do that with your own height and foot length, you should be getting something similar to 136, but it may not be exact because body ratios are approximately equal, but it won't be exact. So, but if you're way off from 136, like if you only got 15, you did something wrong. Or if you got 1,000, you did something wrong. Okay, now we need to turn our inches back into feet and inches. So we need to figure out how many 12s fit within 136. So you can skip count by 12s, or we can just divide on Desmos to figure out our whole number part. So 136 divided by 12 is 11.3 repeating. So our whole number part is going to be 11 feet. And then if we take 11 times 12, that is 132. So we need the difference between 132 and 136. So taking 136 minus 132 gives us 4 inches left. So we can write it as 11 feet, 4 inches, or if you wanted to give it as a mixed number in terms of feet, it would be 11 and 4/12 feet. But this is the way you should write it for the lab, is 11 feet 4 inches for the height of that giant that came to visit or came and was our guest intruder and got the calculator and left. This is the approximate height that we would expect. All right. Thank you, everybody. Please let me know if you have any questions.